If you think I'm too old for this fight, you need to come tell me in my face.
Whoa.
It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah,
20 and
I think that's
40.
what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight.
Mike Tyson accidentally revealed on Joe Rogan's podcast that the rumors about his scripted fight were true. While getting worked up during the conversation, Tyson let it slip, confirming what fans had feared. The match wasn't real, and the whole thing was a setup.
Listen, understand it was a big nostalgia hit. It got our attention. It was a big financial promotion for everybody, and it actually worked. Now, the fight was absolutely terrible, and it feels like Paul was holding back his punches, and at times Mike Tyson was holding back punches.
Yes, the legend himself admitted it, and the backlash from fans and fellow boxers has been strong. For those who grew up watching Tyson dominate the ring, this felt like a different kind of defeat. The once unstoppable fighter reminded everyone that even legends can stumble, that even giants have their struggles. But isn't that what makes him more relatable? We've all faced moments where we felt the weight of our own limits, battled self-doubt, and dealt with the pressure of a world waiting for us to fail.
Figure of my childhood.
Truly, me
When
too.
I was a kid, when he was the champ, it was like, people don't understand what a champ he was. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't just the heavyweight champion of the world, he was an executioner.
Tyson revealed that his battle wasn't just physical, it was emotional too. After nearly 20 years away from professional fighting, returning to the ring was a huge challenge. I had 8 blood transfusions, he admitted, shaking his head as the weight of his words filled the room. For a moment, the tough exterior faded, showing a rare vulnerability. The once invincible Iron Mike let the world see the toll his journey had taken.
Bro, your head is so big.
It didn't hurt. Like, he didn't really land anything.
No, because your head is,
Like,
I just
even
tell
the
you, you
one
can just
he
take
landed-
impact like crazy.
Even the one he landed, I saw it coming and I went like this.
When asked about Jake Paul's performance, Tyson surprisingly praised him, acknowledging his talent and dedication. He stated that Paul isn't just a social media star chasing a gimmick, saying, "The kid can fight." However, some listeners felt there was a touch of sarcasm in his tone. Meanwhile, experts have been sharing mixed reactions to Tyson's comments.
You've just beaten up a fucking 58-year-old. What am I going to do? Give you credit because you didn't do it that badly? Like, it's not really that honourable, but I was pleased that Mike Tyson seen the fucking final bell, because just for his own manly pride, you know what I mean? To just say, yeah, I fucking stayed in there with him. I didn't go down.
Then came the unavoidable question about whether the fight was scripted.
Is this rigged or not rigged? See how hard Mike punches? Everyone thinks that Mike is like toying with him, like Jake Paul is Mike's prison bit.
At first, Tyson dismissed the rumors, calling them nonsense and claiming the viral audio of Paul saying, "I got your money," was taken out of context. However, skeptics weren't convinced. The fight's slow pace and Tyson's reluctance to use his trademark uppercut added to the doubts. Critics argued it felt more like a staged show than a real competition, and even Tyson's biggest fans couldn't ignore the unusual inconsistencies in his typically aggressive style.
So to answer your question, 100% this was fixed. They sat it out and talked about it. It went to decision because that was a neutral way to end it, and it went the full 8 rounds to keep people entertained. They didn't want it to end quickly. 100% it was fixed. It was smart on them, a big money grab.
Joe Rogan asked Tyson if he thought Jake Paul was a true fighter or just a smart marketer.
And I watched the guy's face, and I watched that confidence bleed from his face instantaneously.
Yeah.
He had absolutely lost the fight long before Mike had ever gotten in the ring.
Tyson acknowledged Jake Paul's talent for selling a fight, saying that's half the battle these days, pointing out how boxing is now as much about showmanship as skill. However, while he praised Paul's promotional abilities, Tyson couldn't fully shake the doubts surrounding the match. For every compliment he gave, there was a sense of awareness about how the spectacle impacted his own legacy.
You know, Shannon, you're Super Bowl champion. You know what I'm saying? We've been covering sports. I've been covering sports for 30 years. It's one thing for an exhibition here, there, whatever. But you can't continue to be allowed to build a career without getting into the ring with fighters. If I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Shannon, I think the Mexican monster himself, David Benavidez, I might be wrong, but I think it was him. He said, I'll fight him. Now, this is a man that fights at 168, Molly. Jake Paul was in the ring at 228.
For fans of the once dominant champion, watching Tyson struggle in the ring was tough. His movements were slower, his punches lacked power, and his energy seemed drained. It was a clear reminder that time spares no one, not even Iron Mike. The fight left many wondering why he took part. Was it a final attempt at glory, financial need, or the temptation of the spotlight? Whatever the reason, the result was a harsh reality check. The criticism didn't stop with Tyson. Jake Paul also faced backlash for his role in the event.
Like, he was walking with a cane just like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, but he was really out
He
of
had
shape.
bad sciatica.
Bad sciatica.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, real bad. You know, it wasn't that long ago that he was, you know, I mean, when I first met him, he was very, very heavy. He was not working out at all, and I asked him, how come you don't work out? He goes, I don't want to ignite my ego.
Analysts accused Jake Paul of holding back, suggesting he could have ended the fight if he wanted to. A leaked audio clip fueled suspicions, with many seeing it as evidence that the match was just a cash grab. Social media exploded with hashtags like unscripted fight as fans analyzed every moment. While Paul's supporters argued that his popularity was bringing fresh energy to boxing, critics saw it as a betrayal of the sport's integrity.
No, listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying he was in the ring at 228, and you got a cat 60 pounds lighter than him saying, I'll fight you. You know why? Because what they're saying is, when you gonna fight real boxers?
The fight ended with Jake Paul bowing to Tyson in an awkward show of respect, but the moment left many fans disappointed. The crowd's boos reflected the feeling that this wasn't the Mike Tyson they once knew. The man who used to intimidate opponents now seemed like a shadow of his former self. Tyson admitted that losing in front of a packed stadium was humbling, but he still believed stepping into the ring was a victory in itself. The fight, full of controversy, made one thing clear: it was as much about entertainment as boxing. Tyson's decision to be part of such an event raised questions about the future of the sport, as celebrity matchups and crossover bouts blur the line between real competition and staged drama. For Tyson, the fight was a gamble, a chance to reclaim part of his legacy, even if it meant facing public criticism.
I mean, you don't get no kudos about, oh, he's 58. No, that's not what this is. This was not some a celebrity. This was not for some charity. No. We're gonna do this. And Jake Paul, they asked Jake Paul, did he take his foot off the gas? Stephen A., this is what he said. Yeah, definitely a bit. I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt.
Tyson revealed more about himself than anyone expected, leaving Joe Rogan both amused and confused as Tyson shared his mix of wisdom, self-reflection, and strange ideas. First, he talked openly about his use of psychedelics, not just a little, but taking enough mushrooms to kill an elephant. He said it so casually, as if it was a normal conversation topic. Rogan, who's known for his interest in altered states, listened with curiosity, but a hint of caution. Tyson, unfazed, went on to explain how these trips connect him to the universe and allow him to see God in colors, leaving Rogan struggling to keep a straight face while processing this revelation.
He was jacked and in shape, and he looked super intense. Yeah. And he was just like ready to go, and it was terrifying. It was like, and Jamie.
Wait, when was this?
A few years ago. 4 years ago? 4 years ago?
Tyson then dropped some surprising life advice, sounding like a Zen guru if Zen gurus were built like tanks and had a lisp. He said that love isn't about control, but surrender. This was the same Mike Tyson who once owned pet tigers and had a history of chaos, yet here he was talking about emotional vulnerability like a lovesick poet. Rogan, doing his best to take him seriously, responded with his usual, "That's deep," comment, though it was hard to tell if he truly believed it or was just being polite. Tyson didn't stop there, though. He continued to open up about his past, showing a new side of himself, where brutal honesty seemed to be his thing.
Like, you had to be alive and be a kid during the time where he was the champion to understand what he was. Because there was, after Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, who was a great fighter, but no one liked him because he beat up Muhammad Ali.
Tyson talked about his younger self, describing himself as wild, reckless, and self-destructive. "I was my own worst enemy," he admitted, as if it wasn't already clear to anyone who had followed his career. He painted a picture of his younger days, driven by money, fame, and no control. According to Tyson, all that chaos was just part of being young, as if it was totally normal for every young adult to blow through millions, own pet tigers, and throw extravagant parties.
When he retired, then there was just like a series of boring champions. Like, no one cared about the heavyweight division at all. No one cared.
Tyson dropped some serious existential bombshells, leaving Rogan puzzled. He boldly stated that legacy doesn't matter and that we're all going to be forgotten, even though his name is almost synonymous with boxing. It was both profound and strange to hear Tyson, the legend, dismiss legacy like it was nothing. He went on to say he's made peace with death and even finds it beautiful. Rogan, unsure whether this was a deep thought or a cry for help, nodded along like a therapist. Tyson then talked about fear, explaining how it once controlled him, but he has learned to overcome it. For a man who spent years intimidating his opponents, this was a surprising perspective. He called fear an illusion we create in our minds. It was deep, but coming from someone famous for biting an opponent's ear off, the irony wasn't lost. What made the episode memorable was how Tyson shared his thoughts with such raw honesty. Whether talking about his psychedelic trips, troubled past, or views on death, Tyson spoke openly and bluntly, embracing his flaws and contradictions, and showing the journey that brought him to this unique point in his life. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.